Wondering how to stop being seen as just the decorator and start being seen as the one who's truly running a construction project? You might be surprised at how possible and profitable it really is.
Hey, I'm Sandra Funk, interior designer turned business strategist. After 20 years in the industry, I built a proven system that helps designers step into their power, own their worth, and run wildly successful businesses. Through the Interior Design Standard, I guide designers to confidently create a business that supports the life they actually want. In this episode of Design Sips, I'm passing the mic to a Powerhouse Standard member to share their journey, real talk, invaluable insights, and the kind of inspiration that moves the needle. If you're ready to ditch the chaos and build a business that brings you balance, abundance, and joy, you're in the right place. Let's do this.
Welcome to Design Sips. I'm really glad you're here, and I'm so excited to be guest hosting today. I have my wine. It's actually an ice wine, which I really love. If you've never tried one, I highly recommend it. And today, we're going to talk all about integrating construction management services into your design business. Some of you have sent in questions, and we're going to go through each of them so that you walk away with an understanding of how you can offer this service to your own client base. But first, I want to introduce myself. I'm Renee Biery of Decorator Design, based in Wilmington, Delaware. I am a luxury high-end residential designer that specializes in construction. And I have been a member of this crazy-ass industry for the last 30 plus years, 24 of which have been out on my own. Fun fact, I am also the host of a podcast, Only Girl on the Job Site, which started as a COVID baby. And yes, I am a very proud member of the Standard. So let's get started with some of these questions. First question, why did you start offering construction management as a service? It's a great question. Honestly, I have always had construction management in my business. Anyone who knows me or listens to my podcast knows I studied at the New York School of Interior Design way back in the 90s. At the time, the dean of the students was an architect. And I don't know if it was because of that, but a lot of our classes were skewed towards architecture and construction. I was also taught how to hand draft because AutoCAD was in its infancy. Yes, that long ago. And I found it was the perfect vehicle for me to communicate my creative thoughts through drawing. And I still do today. I love to hand draw. That said, I was slightly hooked. And admittedly, I come from engineers, so I think it was the ability to tap into both sides of my brain, the creative and the mathematical side of my brain. So when I graduated from NYSID, I sought out design firms that offered both construction and decorating and was immediately hooked and have never looked back. Second question, this is a good one. What are the first steps for a designer who wants to offer this service? This is an excellent question, and I get asked this one a lot. Okay, the first step is knowing you want to do it. And I mean really knowing you want to do it. Don't do it because you think you should. Don't do it because you think the designer down the street does it. You really want to be sure you want to do this as a service because it is complex. I'm not here to sugarcoat any of it. It is complex. It can be very overwhelming at times. And both of those things impact your profitability and your sanity, by the way. And so you really need to be sure that it's something you're interested in doing. Okay, so once you do that, what you really need to do is educate yourself. Just like everything else, you need to understand the phases of construction, your role in each of those phases. And spoiler alert, it can be different depending on the scope of the work, the type of the team, the type of the client. All sorts of variables come into play with construction. And then you need to understand, once you know what your role is, then what are the steps inside that role, the things you need to provide, and go on from there. Because what I find most problematic for designers is they see themselves on an island and they're not a member of the team. And obviously, my podcast is called Only Girl on the Job Site because that's how I've described myself for years, actually. It can be very intimidating being that only girl on the job site, and chances are you're going to be the majority of the time. I think in 30 years, I have seen less than 6 female trades thinking, yeah, lesson 6. Few architects now, that's a newer thing. Didn't used to be that way. But you really will feel like the only girl on the job site, and you have to be okay with that, which goes back to the first part of my question, my answer. You have to know that you want to do this. And by the way, I love what I do. I just can't say that enough. I truly love what I do. So if you are interested, it's 100% worth it.
Hey, are you struggling to attract dream clients? Imagine confidently choosing who you work with rather than hoping that they find you. Introducing the Client Attraction Formula. The formula includes 6 comprehensive modules full of proven client attraction strategies, marketing templates, and resources, all with lifetime access, designed to help you attract your dream clients. If you're ready to go from unknown to irresistible, then the formula is for you.
How do you avoid being seen as a decorator by the contractors? This one's tough. Again, it goes back to being the only girl. You are automatically odd man out, or odd woman out in this case. And so you have to understand that, and you have to prove otherwise by being prepared with your specifications, by having your drawings all tight and understood, keeping the train on the tracks, expediting, staying on top of it, integrating the client with the contractor, being that liaison. I always joke, I speak architect, I speak contractor. What does that mean? I translate it. I translate what the architect is trying to convey to the client in language that the damn client can understand. I just don't see architects and contractors doing that efficiently or successfully, and so that's a role I take on. So you can be a team member. I guarantee you can be a team member. I am a team member every time I walk on a job site. Now, if I join a new team who's never met me, never heard of me, which does happen, I gotta start and educate them right from day one. But it's easier to do once you have the confidence and the knowledge behind what you're doing, and they will see that, they will feel that, and they will learn to respect that. Good question. Okay, how has construction management changed your business? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't know how it hasn't changed my business. When I was in design school, pretty much everyone around me, my fellow classmates, were all doing the same thing. I thought this was normal, right? I thought that's what all interior designers did. I was very young, early 20s when I graduated. And my best friends from design school, we were all interested in construction. So again, I just thought this was normal. When I entered into big firms, big 80, 100 firms in New York City, that's what they did. I thought this really was normal. So it didn't occur to me not to integrate that service into my own business when I went out on my own. So why has that changed my business? I am a one-stop shop. My clients don't need anyone else. I had a husband once joke that I cost him a lot of money, and I thought he meant by the jobs. And then he quickly clarified and he said, because we're doing projects one after the other because we know you can handle it. So that was great, right? One year we would decorate the living room. The next year we were gutting the kitchen. The next year we were back to decorating, and on and on and on. So how has that also changed my business? I don't need to market as much. My projects, I'm with my clients, hell, some of them 10, 15 years, because we constantly are doing a new project over and over, whether it is a construction or decorating. And so I am blessed, right? We hate marketing. I mean, most designers hate selling our services, so I don't have to do that as frequently.
Do you find yourself creating exceptional design work, yet still struggle to run the back end of your business? If so, check out my signature program, the Interior Design Standard, to unlock all the tools needed to transform your design firm. Everything you need to run a profitable business all in one place, from contracts and pricing calculators to templates and scripts. Take the leap and join designers across the world raising the bar for our entire industry by enrolling in the Interior Design Standard.
The other thing that is incredible is I have seen over the last 30 years that most of our clients, most human beings, view decorating as a luxury service, right? My clients, they own furniture. So if there's an economic downturn, they can wait. They can just push pause, wait till everything's stable again before they replace what they already have. That said, construction is seen as an investment and something that is a return on their investment when they get ready to sell. I mean, it's published material. I think a kitchen renovation is in the mid to high 80% on return on investment. Can you imagine that? I don't know too many other return on investments that in that level and that high and that guaranteed. So, by the way, I was definitely in business during the downturn of 08, 09 and into 10 and sometimes a little bit trailing off into that after that. And I had the same level of income I did prior to 2008, but I was doing all construction projects. My decorating projects, I'm sure if any of you were in the business back then, they all got put on hold. I understood it, right? They had furniture. They could wait until things got better before they replaced with new pieces. But those that were looking to do construction projects knew that when the economy was stable again, they would get their investment back. And so I maintained the same income throughout when I was watching other firms struggle and go under. Same thing with COVID. I never lost a beat. I was doing construction all the way through COVID. And then of course, afterwards, when the markets were flooded and everybody was decorating, went right back into more decorating. So it has truly been a game changer having two revenue streams inside my business. So depending on which one I need to lean on most, that's the way I direct my clients or my marketing and outreach. So it has truly been a game changer in my career, and I would love to say it was intentional, but it wasn't. It was just built out of an enjoyment and love. I mean, hell, I love the smell of sawdust. And it then stabilized my business for the last 24 years. So I can't recommend enough looking into and understanding what it would mean to offer construction management services in your business. And if you're already offering them, up-leveling them, right? So many of you reach out and you are doing specifications only and handing them over and walking away. I would challenge you, get in the game further. Start managing it. Start being a part of those weekly meetings. Start being a part in the very beginning when those designs are underway and being built out. It is an incredible experience to see your design creations in the beginning and be a through line through an entire project. And that can only happen if you are it can only happen if you are a part of the project the entire time. And so I truly believe this is something that would be so healthy for our industry to not only recognize, I mean, hell, so many of us are already on construction projects. They're just not talking about it enough. This is something that I really want to lean into, support designers, and pay forward all the knowledge I learned from the incredible women I worked for in New York City before I went out on my own. Okay, so that was a lot, and I understand construction management feels like a lot. It feels like a lot of steps. It feels weighty. It feels scary. And I hear from designers all the time about profitability and being in over their heads and underwater in fees and all of that. And that can happen, mostly when you don't understand the phases of construction and your specific role in each. So that would be my challenge to you, is to educate yourself first and foremost about what your role is, and then lean into it and learn everything you can about it. It's totally possible. This has been incredible. I have thoroughly loved being here with each of you. I hope there's been some takeaways that you can implement and into your businesses this afternoon or tomorrow or over wine. If you want to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram at Devigne Design. You can listen to my podcast, Only Grow on the Job Site. And I want to leave you with something that I've learned from the Standard. We all rise together. Sandra and I couldn't be more in line with that. All we need to do is lean in and support each other, and anything is possible. So my story as a standard member has hopefully something you can benefit from. So after 3 decades in the business, I've worked for big firms, and what I did was I took their processes, right? It was things I knew, it was things I had worked with day in and day out, and I just sort of cobbled them all together, taking the parts that I felt worked best, improving the parts that I thought were lacking, and they were good. They worked. But I knew there was something better. I knew that there was a way to be even more efficient. And look, guys, in our business, time is money. And so the efficiency that I have gotten from pulling the things I needed that were missing in my processes out of the standard have just been incredible. I can't tell you how much more efficient, and frankly, how much less I think about my processes now, which is great, because I used to worry about them much more than I needed to, and certainly much more than I do now. So I can't thank you enough for your time today, for Sandra allowing me to have a glass of wine on her behalf with each of you. And I can't wait to hear more about how you're going to integrate construction management services into your own business. Cheers.